Hi, everybody. I see we have people coming in. That's great. Well, let's just wait for 2 more minutes, okay? While people are coming in. Meanwhile, I meant to tell you, if you have any questions or comments, you can use the Q&A session. We disabled the chat because people usually use both the Q&A and chat, and it's difficult for us to jump between both of them. And of course, we want to answer all your questions, so we decided that it would be best to just do that through the Q&A. So we will get to that at the end of the panel. We will have 10 to 15 minutes to answer all your questions. We already have 39 participants. Oh gosh. Oh, nice. And it's just increasing. I believe we can get started, right?
Yeah,
Let's do it.
I think we can.
We are going to talk about mastering direct bookings, unleash the power of your vacation rental website in this webinar. My name is, Nino, can you move to the next slide, please?
Yep.
My name is Tatiana Sampaio. I'm the Digital Marketing Manager at IGMS. I will moderate this panel. We have Nino from our CX team and our community management at IGMS. Hi, Nino, how are you?
Hi, Tanya. I'm good. So hopefully, everyone will get all the info that they need regarding the direct bookings, and of course, if they will have any extra questions. So hopefully, we'll have a lot more questions to go through with the Q&A.
Sure. And I'm honored to have the presence of one of our partners here. It's Arthur Coker, CEO of StayFi. He's also here with us today. He'll share a few words on StayFi and his thoughts on direct bookings. Hi, Arthur. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, and super excited to go through this topic because I know it's a very hot one in the industry today. So,
yeah. Well, before we start, let me thank you all for coming. We are very excited to have you on board. So today we'll have this joint panel with IGMS and StayFi talking about mastering direct bookings. Next slide, please.
Yes, of course.
We are going to move to our agenda today. Nina will say a couple of words about IGMS and present you with some interesting facts about direct bookings. Then we are going to have Arthur talk a little about StayFi and let us know a little bit more about how to master direct bookings. At the end, as I said, we're going to have a Q&A session that will take about 10 to 15 minutes. Nino, the word's with you. You can get started with your presentation.
Okay, so I will start first of all with IGMS and what it is and how it can help you basically. So IGMS is a full-on property management platform for hosts like you, property managers, small hosts, bigger hosts, so whatever it is. So it can definitely help you simplify and streamline all of your operations and definitely increase the revenue with it as well. So unlike other softwares, so we have a lot of automations that you can use and a lot of different capabilities that you can basically do anything with. And of course, both will support with streamline and put things on autopilot as well. So this is on the next slide. This is a small compilation of most of the features that we have. So we have guest agent assignment, direct booking widget, which I will talk about today as well, and which is really big topic. Multi-calendar, which will unify all of your properties, sync your calendars together, notifications, pro track, payment getaway. So this is a lot of things to go through, but main thing is the direct booking that we'll be talking about today. And I'll go through everything regards to direct booking. So for example, the first thing would be what are direct bookings? So some of you may heard of them and already use them, which is a great thing, but some of them are a new space for most of the users right now. And basically, a direct booking is a process where guest directly books accommodation with you without any third-party platforms, or as we call it, a middleman. And right now we will explore importance of the direct bookings, how you can streamline those, and all of that. So in my next slide here, so I will talk about why are direct bookings a good idea. So first point that I have here is a higher revenue, because in the direct bookings, you essentially eliminate like a third party, and that third party most likely like Airbnb, VRBO, so they take the fees that you pay for as well. And eliminating that, you actually get like a higher revenue because you're not paying any percentages or giving some type of commission for a third party person. The second point that I have, which is I think is also like I think it's like more important than higher revenue one, which where you have like enhanced control. So basically by managing direct bookings, you have basically full control over everything. That would be pricing, that would be availability, any rules that you set, booking terms, the rule sets that you have on there. And of course, all of this is actually optimizing your business because you are doing things the way you want to do them actually. The third one would be reduce dependence on the OTAs. So you are not relying solely on them. You're actually can make your business like much more valuable with the changes that you make there. Would it be like policy change, commission increase, like competition? So you can do a lot more things more freely, like doing direct bookings rather than only listing on OTAs. And fourth, I think it's also like one of the most important ones where you have a direct feedback. So it allows you to interact with the guests with more like a direct way rather than them going through the chat with a third-party website. And you can address their concerns more promptly. You will have like a better communication with them, and that is like the one of the most important things that is with the bookings at all. Then, so let's see like what are the essential features for direct bookings. Of course, you can take them, but there are like some kind of different like features that you need in order for them to process it very smoothly. The first one would be an easy to use online booking system. So you don't need to have like some complex booking system. A simple one is like really good way to go about it, where like customers can just log in there and make like a reservation without any hassle. And also like complicated systems may also be like a bit of hassle for users where they don't understand some of the things on there. So a simple, nice like online booking system is a way to go there. The second thing that you'll need to have is your availability calendar. So you'll need those like real-time updates where your availability is there like every time. So no one overbooks there, no one receives a double booking there. And also it's also leading to a better reviews and like word of mouth referrals as well. Third one, and one of the most important ones, would be secure payment gateway. So in digital age, security is paramount. So a secure payment gateway ensures that their information is safe, because you can see that some of the users may not book even when if you don't have like a secure payment gateway where the data is secure there. So it's one of the most important parts. And the fourth one would be automation. So this will reduce all of your manual tasks that you're doing, like sending messages manually, sending some of the guest books manually. So anything that you do manually, so you can most likely 100% automate that as well, which saves you in the end a lot of time and money as well. And so why the fourth advantage that I want to actually talk about separately would be a direct booking website and why you need it. So a direct booking website is actually most like essential nowadays to actually receive direct bookings. And most of our users as well who like use IGMS, more 95% of them actually receive reservations from direct bookings. And so why you need it. So first one would be the financial savings. So as I mentioned, bypassing those middlemen, third-party commissions, so you retain your large part of your revenue. Second one would be data ownership. So you can actually gain insights of how your users act on your website and the preferences that they have. And using that, you can actually tailor that to your marketing needs based on the feedback and analytics that you get from there. Third one would be actually improved customer trust. So you can offer like a seamless booking experience where they see everything about the property, everything about yourself. A small like about us section would be also great where they have like a sense of security in the booking. And the fourth one would be flexibility and control, where you can like create offers, create prices that you like tailor to them. And what's most important, availability in the real time is one of the most important things there. And of course, you can implement changes about that with the way you see how your users act there. And actually, so I will also want to talk about like our website builder, which will actually help you to do all of those things. And so we just released this feature and we're really proud of it. And using this feature, you can essentially create your full-on custom direct booking website. And you can customize anything on this website. You can create about us pages, create Q&A sections, even guests can inquire on those listings that you have. And what's most important, the availability is up to date. It syncs with all of your calendars with Airbnb, VRBO, Booking.com, and it creates seamless experience for your guests. And what's most important, that now we are living in a digital age. So all of the users, so most of the users may use laptop, but we noticed that a lot of them actually book from the phone. So that's why we created like a mobile friendly, like basically mobile optimized website as well, from which the guests can book seamlessly and basically do everything from wherever they are. So for example, opening a laptop is a bit hard when you're doing a booking where maybe you're somewhere in the middle of the airport, you need like a last minute booking. So having something on your phone and having like a mobile optimized website is a really good way to go about it. And of course, it's also increasing your sales. So actually, this would be from my part, from iGEM's part. So I think we can now move on to Arthur right now. And of course, if you have any questions in the middle, just pop them in the Q&A section. So we'll be happy to answer them after everything is done.
Awesome. That was fantastic. And your direct booking websites look amazing. So, I mean, obviously that's where building your own brand really starts, is your digital presence. And so being able to represent that in a great website is so crucial to getting started with differentiating yourselves and not having everyone just think you're an OTA, right? Or you're Airbnb. Because we know so many guests, when they book a accommodation, they say we're staying with Airbnb, but we know, Airbnb is just the booking site, and we really want them to associate their wonderful stay with your independent brand, and the website is where you can start building that out. So I'm going to share my screen here and give you a little background on myself and StayFi. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah. So StayFi as a business, our mission is to help short-term rental operators of all size build a vibrant, independent, and more profitable brand, keyword being more profitable. And the way that we help individuals do that, or brands do that, is help them collect guest data, introduce their brand to every guest staying with them, and then remarket to those guests. And the main way that we're helping our customers collect data is through the Wi-Fi. So the technology that we provide in short-term rentals is the same that you've used at a hotel, a coffee shop, an airport, where when a guest joins the Wi-Fi, a captive portal, is what we call it, or splash page will appear on their device, whether it's a phone, tablet, computer, and that splash page is customized by you. So it will show your branding, what information you want about the home, and that's where we collect the guest information. So through StayFi, not only can you collect the name, email, and phone number of the booker, if you have a vacation rental that sleeps 10, we're going to get data from all 10 individuals staying in the property. Even if they booked on a third party, they're going to get introduced to your independent brand. And then once they log in through this page, they'll be redirected to any website you'd like your iGMS direct booking site. And that way they're all seeing how they can book directly again with you in the future. And I think the big, hypothesis or reason we approach it this way is that if you're going to start building your independent brand and you want to start marketing your business, who is the best audience to go after? And we really believe it's the people that have already stayed with you. Just because on search, if you try to search for vacation rentals, Airbnb, Expedia, Booking, they're so dominant, it's really hard to break through there. But with people that have stayed with you and loved your properties, that's where you're going to build a really vibrant and strong repeat direct booking business with people that you trust and have stayed with you before, right? So we're just making that process really easy to do. Also, because we're a Wi-Fi based system, we have some other really cool features that I'm going to talk less about, that is more about occupancy alerting, which we do with iGMS, outage alerting if the Wi-Fi goes out, and things like that. But here we're just going to mainly focus on marketing and building your independent brand. Just to give a little background on our integration, like what does it do and why do we want to have this integration with IGMS? Three things is what it does, and it's really easy to connect in your StayFi account. Number one is when you're creating StayFi, we need to import your properties, and that's just really fast. Obviously, we can pull them all in directly from IGMS. Then I talked a little bit about occupancy alerting. So when you have StayFi in a home, we actually are counting the unique number of people using the Wi-Fi, not just devices. So we know there's like 5 people and 10 devices. And if we ever see there's more individuals on the internet than are booked in the property for their current IGMS reservation, we send you an alert. So for instance, if the reservation's for 4 and we see there's 10 people on the internet, we'll let you know. And we actually just announced a discount if any of you happen to use proper insurance. Because of this feature, you'll actually get 10% off your proper insurance bill because we're helping protect your properties from over occupancy or abuse. And then finally, and like really what the meat of the integration is as I described before, we help you collect data from every single person staying at the property. But what about any data you've collected before that happens to be in IGMS? Well, within StayFi, we actually have our own email marketing tool as well that's built specifically for short-term rentals. And we go through all your historical IGMS reservations, as well as any future ones that happen to be made, and we'll pull out any real emails you've already collected. So when you create your StayFi account and connect IGMS, you'll have the option to import any data you already have. And that way, if let's say you haven't done email marketing before, or maybe you did it sporadically in the past, this way, not only can you start effectively marketing, you're going to start with a good size audience of what you've already collected. And then obviously going forward, if you use our Wi-Fi tools, you'll be collecting data at a lot faster rate, because instead of maybe 1 email per reservation, you're going to be getting 5, 6, 7, 10. We have people that have, 10-bedroom homes where they get 30 emails for 1 reservation, right? So you can just really explode the growth of your email marketing database. Just a little background if you're curious about kind of who we work with operators of all size. So we have customers that, own and operate 1 listing, and they brand it, and they have a great website like through IGMS. And they have people say that they love it, they want to book again. Well, now with StayFi, you can just easily let them know, hey, if you come to our website and book again, you may save money versus booking through the OTA. So a lot of our customers, from a pricing strategy, they will, let's say Airbnb or Vrbo take 15 to 20%. They'll actually split that between themselves and the guests. So the guests save some money, you save some money. So everyone ends up happier at the end of the day when you have that direct relationship. And then obviously we work with some people that have 300, 400, 500 plus units, and they're collecting tens of thousands of emails a month. And obviously that can drastically, rapidly change their mix of bookings, going from a very Airbnb, Vrbo, especially in the US, dominated booking mix, where now, it's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% direct. Those are definitely achievable. And we're just helping you scale that business much faster. In terms of how you set up our service, we work with a certain brand of hardware that we sell called Ubiquiti Unify. Many properties with professionally installed internet, or maybe you operate like a small motel, multifamily building, may have this equipment already. So if you have Ubiquiti Unify, we can connect to your current hardware. In the US, we sell this hardware as well. It's very easy to set up. And then outside of the US, you can purchase the hardware. We kind of help you find a person that sells it there, and then you can set it up in your account. So we can use StayFi with you in every single country, basically, you can imagine. And we also make sure we collect emails in a compliant way. So if you're in the EU or the UK or the US, we have slightly different rules, or Canada. We make sure that every guest, if you're going to do email marketing, is opting in appropriately, because we know that's important to do. Just some results, and kind of like, if you're interested in getting started with direct bookings, kind of what's achievable. And, I'd say the first thing to look for is like, is this something you want to invest in? Do you organically see people book you multiple times through an OTA? So if you see a guest that's booked you 2 or 3 times through Airbnb, that's the type of person we want to convert to being a direct booker, right? It's definitely worth paying an OTA for the guest the first time. That's like the cost of acquisition. But why should you pay them again and again to get that same guest to come back to you? So we definitely, if you see that organic behavior of people asking you to book again, if you see them booking again, that's a great sign that you have a great potential to build a robust repeat booking and business. And we see that a lot. I say really typical in like drive-to destinations, where people go there multiple times a year, or maybe like we have customers in Hawaii or ski destinations where people do that trip once or twice a year. Those are all places where if you can let them know, hey, you'll save 5 or 10% by booking direct, they're definitely going to come back with you. Just 2 examples, kind of 2 totally different size operators. Cozy Vacation Rentals in Texas, they started 0% direct, and now they get almost 30% of their direct bookings from their email marketing program, just because they have so many guests staying across those units that we've grown their email list like exponentially. And then we work with another customer in Canada that's very seasonal because she's in Northern Ontario. That was an interesting one where she has been operating for 30 years, already has a really good repository of emails she's been marketing to. And with StayFi, she no longer even lists on Airbnb or Vrbo for her peak season because she can get all the bookings direct, which is insane. And then she said, well, at the same time, now we also are helping kind of push our shoulder seasons, which were a little weaker, around the, fall and spring, and getting some people to come there during times of years they may have not previously traveled there. When it comes to kind of like the evolution and what we see folks doing, and we went previously through a lot of the advantages of direct booking, so I'm not going to rehash these, but I see it's very common, especially these days. A lot of people were introduced to this industry through Airbnb, right? I'm going to start an Airbnb business or put my property in Airbnb, and that's amazing. And then, they use IGMS and they want to list on Vrbo or multiple channels, right? Which is fantastic. But then it gets kind of the point where you're like in the point of optimizing your business and you say, can I become more profitable? How can I retain guests? Especially how can I, hedge against demand on these other platforms that I don't have total control over, right? Like, how am I going to appear in an algorithm? They change the algorithm. Where am I going to be listed, right? And building that email marketing list, and in our case, we even have text marketing, where you have that, repository of people that love staying with you. That's a place you can go back to again and again to help try to fill those open nights that you have. And we see a lot of people, especially smaller operators, let's say they have a cancellation for like a key Thanksgiving week or wherever, that's when they'll send the email and a text to all their subscribers saying like, hey, we have a last minute cancellation. Do you want to fill this important or like high value weekend? And that's a way you can just really stay on top of how can I leverage my direct booking audience to fill in any of the gaps, especially at the beginning when your list isn't that big, where maybe Airbnb and Vrbo and other sites are falling a little short. So it just gives you that other lever that you can use to drive demand and not be dependent totally on these channels that you have less control over, other than just changing your prices. I talked a little about our solution, but just holistically, really 4 areas. 1, collecting and centralizing all your guest data. So like I mentioned, we'll collect data from every person in the rental property. And then we'll also connect to IGMS to pull in any data you've collected historically, as well as future data from future bookings if you have their real emails. And we make sure to screen out fake proxy emails and all that other junk that some of the OTAs throw in there. We have the email and text marketing designed for short-term rentals, and you can use our product just for email. So let's say you just want to connect IGMS and just start marketing to those folks. That's totally possible, and you can use that tool standalone. We provide or help you ensure every guest will have amazing Wi-Fi, because we will alert you if the internet ever goes down. Especially you can address that between stays, and we do the occupancy alerting. And finally, we make sure that every single person is exposed to your brand. So we really want to, maybe they come saying they booked an Airbnb, but we want to make sure they leave saying they booked your brand, and make sure that awareness is with the entire guest party. This is what the splash page looks like. So this is what a guest would see. And obviously you can customize this to put your branding imagery. It can be done to the house level, so you can have total customization here. And then from the Wi-Fi monitoring perspective, we'll alert you if it's ever down or if there's too many guests there. And then we have the text and email campaign. And I'm actually going to just jump over quickly to this other presentation just so I can show you what some of these emails look like. So you're kind of curious, what is the strategy here? So what we really recommend if you want to set up email marketing is starting with automation. So if you ever used a tool like MailChimp, they may call it an automation or a drip campaign. And we have that same concept within StayFi, where when you receive an email, you can trigger, or you receive an email into the database, you can trigger an email automatically. And that's a great place to start because you can invest time in creating one series of, let's say, someone logs into the Wi-Fi, I'm going to automatically trigger them 3 emails over the course of 3 months. You set those emails up one time, then you know every single guest is going to see your brand and get the discount code if you're sending one and get the local area guide. And then while your list is building, you don't have to worry about sending a monthly newsletter until you're ready. So we typically say, like, once you have, over 500 to 1,000 contacts, then it might be time to start investing in, okay, I have the automation. Now I want to layer in a monthly newsletter right on top of that. And that can go out to not just the data we're collecting, but to your IGMS audience. So it's really deciding kind of when is the ROI worth it for me to start investing more time into email. And we say do automation first because it will be evergreen and everyone will get this content as they log in. And then as your list grows, then you can layer in a monthly or 2 times a month newsletter. We have some clients, I get their emails every week because they have 500 homes under management and they are like huge drive-through destinations and they can just drive so much traffic to their huge email marketing list. This company, I'll just show you kind of like what these emails look like. So this is what this company is sending when the guest logs into Wi-Fi. And they actually design this email with our partner agency. So we have like a very easy to use drag and drop email builder in the tool. We also partner with an agency called Switchback. So let's say you want to get a professionally designed email like this, they can help do that for you too for like a small extra fee. So it's kind of totally up to you whether you want to self-manage email or get some professional design help, which can be like one time or ongoing. But you can see here, these emails look amazing. So for instance, the guest logs into the Wi-Fi and they're getting this email where it's saying, welcome to our home. They assume, because most of their bookings at the beginning, this is a pretty new company, were coming from third-party channels. So their kind of mindset is like, this guest 90% of the time booked on Vrbo or Airbnb, and I want to now introduce them to Juniper Holiday and Home. They offer a bunch of amazing concierge services. So if you're doing anything to drive incremental revenue during the stay, whether you offer mid-stay cleans, late checkout, you have partner services, you have a store through the host co, like so many different ways people are trying to drive incremental revenue during the stay. This is a great place to advertise that because everyone's getting this email the moment they log into the Wi-Fi. So you're upselling all those other things where you can drive more revenue. And then finally down here, they obviously have, ready to come here again. Like here's where you can explore your next vacation. And then once their list got to a certain size, they started sending these monthly newsletters. So you can see, again, totally very professional design. What's cool about this newsletter is that this is aimed for both people that stayed with them and also prospective owners. So they kind of send this one newsletter to all their audiences because we can't forget both existing owners they manage for and prospective ones love to see this, especially if their properties are featured here. And you can see here, they kind of talk about their property management, as well as featuring these 4 properties and their concierge again, and then explore all. And so these are all templated sections our partner agency built for them. And so they can just reuse these and switch out the properties very simply. Sweet. I just wanted to switch over to that so people could see some real life examples of what these look like. Yeah, so now that was it. I know that was pretty fast. We can go over some more things if you want. I don't know. Do you want me to go over some more examples, Tatiana? What would be helpful?
Oh, we already have so many questions from our guests.
Oh, we do?
We do. Maybe I should take a little bit longer for us to answer the questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's do the questions. And maybe we could go deeper on some of the questions, depending what they are.
Okay, let's see the questions here. How is damage deposit handled in direct bookings and access to liability insurance?
I have some thoughts here, but I know I looked on your website actually to see, it looked like so a lot of our customers use something like Superhog, which I saw. I don't know if that's live yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Uh,
say,
y-
yeah.
it's in process right now. So Superhog should be live soon, but we also do have integrations with Safely and
Yeah.
Ensure Guest as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd say those are great products for guest screening. And I know they have different liability coverage. So you're kind of making sure that you get, I'm sure you guys can talk about it more since they're your partners, but I'd say that's typically what we recommend is looking at Safely, AutoHost. I know the Insure one and Superhog are all companies that do that guest verification ID check and also the damage and deposit stuff, especially for direct bookers.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so
Let's go.
yeah, so we do have integrations with all of those. Plus, with iGEMAS, what you can do, so for example, if you're just starting out having like just a couple of direct bookings and don't want to like use insurance maybe or have something, so you can also use our check-in form feature, which basically you somehow like pre-screen the guests with like preset questions. You can also make them sign legal agreements as well. And also, of course, they can upload their ID, so you can double check them just in case. But most of our like already like users who are already using direct bookings for a long time, so all of them mostly have insurance via Safely, Insure Guest, Superhog as well. So they use those ones.
Okay, let's see the second question. Are you able to compute city and state taxes on the direct booking site?
Yes, so you can add like all of the taxes that you have. So we have like, as I remember, like 10 different types of taxes that you can add. You can choose taxable base, so everything like that. So you can totally add it for direct bookings, and not only taxes, like different fees that you may have as well. So you can totally add them as well, and it just adds up to the guest total with no problem.
Oh, that's great. Another question we have here. When will the new website builder be available for hosts to build website? Because I know it's not available currently.
Yeah, so it's currently the like premium website is not like fully live yet to all the public, but of course, if you're interested, we can like go ahead and schedule a call with you and like set up your like premium direct booking website with no problem. So it's just like not live in the app, but the development is finished, so product is working and live on our end, so we can definitely include you in it and like set up a setup session with no problem.
That's great. Is the website hosted by you? Do we have our own domain name?
Yes, so on our end, website will be hosted by us, but what you can do is you can always add your custom domain there with no problem. So you can use the free iGEMS one that we offer, or like add the one that you buy from like GoDaddy or any other like domain sites and add that. But as for the hosting, it's hosted by us. So for example, if you decide to not use iGEMS anymore or anything like that, so website will stay on our end basically. So unfortunately, it's not like a transferable thing that can be done.
Okay. I have my own website. How do I integrate iGMS within my own website?
Yeah, so you can totally do that with the website widget that we have. So you can integrate it like a separate, like a booking widget as like a WordPress plugin or like a separate like HTML code, which is like really easy to integrate there. And you can start receiving direct reservations. But one thing, so we use Stripe as a payment processing. So you should also use Stripe with iGEMS in order to process all of your direct bookings as well.
I have a question here for you, Arthur.
Mhm.
Is Wi-Fi available at the location? Is it on a data cap remote area? How much data does StayFi use?
Yeah, great question. So I didn't really explain the setup process for StayFi, so I'll just cover that here. So we can work with any internet service provider. When you use StayFi, you're getting this device from us, which is called an access point, which is those little discs I showed you. That plugs into the router. You can leave the current Wi-Fi running. So if you have like a bunch of TVs or door locks or whatever thermostats on the existing Wi-Fi or homeowner network that can stay, our device will broadcast a new guest network with the splash page. You can also set up like another network for devices with just a password 2 or 2.4 gigahertz network. So that's kind of just the setup overall. When it comes to this question, since we're just when the guest connects to the network getting the splash page, the amount of data we're sending over the internet is very small, and then there's no extra data being used when they're actually on the Wi-Fi. I would say that a lot of our customers, especially in the US, but now globally too, that are in rural areas that maybe had one of those older kind of like satellite connections. We have a lot of customers now using oh my God, what's it called? The satellite internet, the Elon Musk internet, Starlink. And we can connect to Starlink too. If you have a Starlink router, it's really annoying they don't have Ethernet cable ports, so you have to buy like their adapter. So I would recommend, if you have one of those really old plans, looking into it if it's available, just because then you can get unlimited fast internet and not have to worry about the data caps that some of the older providers had.
Right. Questions keep coming. I have VRBO and Airbnb in 3 different geographical areas: Florida, Colorado, Tennessee. How do I use Website Builder to only look at the area listings the customer is interested in via my existing tags, which I already use: floor cleaners, handyman, contractors, etc.?
Hi, Rex. Actually, I messaged you earlier regarding that. So yeah, our dev team is actually working on that. Like where you can like add and like search via tags or like labels, as we call it, on the website builder. Currently, the only filters that you would have would be the location, the dates, and like when they want to check in and check out, and the type of listing, which you can like change it up a bit, only search it via listing tab or anything like that. But for those like labels, so that is coming. That's why our dev team actually had some like follow-up questions regarding your recommendations last time. So as soon as they have like some kind of development processes regarding that, I'll make sure to let you know.
I'll just comment on like how our people approach this just from like a general marketing standpoint, especially for email marketing. When we collect data or we import your existing guest data from IGMS, we of course collect the property they stayed at, so whichever one they booked. And then within StayFi, we also know which property they stayed at. And then a lot of our customers within their email marketing lists, you can create segments. So you can have segments based on the property the guest stayed in. And you can even trigger different email automations based on where they signed in. So for instance, if you're in 3 areas, you may want to have 3 different welcome emails to greet the guest after they get on the Wi-Fi. And so you can create 3 segments and then trigger those different emails. And that way you can really customize not just the splash page, but all the after stay marketing, because, while there may be some chance that the person who booked in Colorado also wants to visit a Florida beach, like it's going to happen too, definitely the most likely behavior is to repeat book the same listing. And that's what we see for customers that are more geographically diverse.
Perfect. Can you please write the names of the companies you mentioned in the chat? We have them in our marketplace. I believe they're asking about Superhog and those other companies we talked about.
I will put our marketplace in the chat as well right now, so you can definitely check those companies out. If anything like that is mentioned that is not our marketplace, so we'll definitely write it up in the chat as well.
Okay. I have a question that's difficult here. How's the business in Africa, Nigeria, to be specific?
Like how's the short-term rental business, or do we work there, or your business? I'm not sure. Yeah.
That was, let's see if he or she can explain
Clarify.
that in another, clarify that in another question. Another question here. We have a website. I'd like to install your IGMS widget into and use a Stripe, etc. Can you recommend someone who can install the widget? We have 7 total vacation rentals. We'd like to eventually do a site containing all of them and install the widget on that site as well.
You guys have your widget is like a HTML widget, right?
Yeah, so it's it's like WordPress web store as well. Plus, you can also copy the code and just paste it into the HTML as well with no problem.
Yeah, I saw they had I clicked on their thing. They have a Wix website, and Wix websites you can add embed code elements. So you should be able to add the custom like code block in the Wix editor and then just paste it in and it should work.
Okay. Will there be an option to send automated reviews after a guest checkout, either asking the guest to leave a review or to leave a review if there is no issue?
Do you guys, so I guess there's kind of two things here. One is collecting a review from the OTA, like if it was an Airbnb or Vrbo booking. I don't know if you guys have automated messages to prompt that. Often the Airbnb and Vrbo have those as well. Do you want to talk about that? And then I can talk about other types of review gathering if you want.
Okay, yeah, so we do have that. So on our end, so you can set up automated messages like right after guest checks out, a couple of days after. So you can definitely set that automation and ask them for a review. So just write them a message and it will be sent to them. And also in terms of automation for reviews, we also do have another one, which is specifically for Airbnb reviews, where you can set up like a couple of different like positive review templates, let's say 3 or 4, and create like a delay for them. We recommend 3-day delay just in case we have to time to check everything, if everything was left nicely. If it was like a 5-star guest, the review will get automatically posted on that OTA. And if not, so we can manually change it up. Like for example, save it as a draft. And after like at the end of the 14th day, it will be automatically sent as well. So you can definitely do that from our end as well. And as for the marketing part, so Arthur will talk about it as well.
Yeah, so if you're looking to build up reviews outside of the OTAs, which I recommend, whether it's on your own website or a really good one is Google reviews. So if you have a Google business profile, if you have a lot of 5 stars being written there, it will help you in SEO. So like how easily is your website discoverable through search? We in our text marketing tool have basically a way they'll get an automated text asking them to review their stay. They'll have they can pick out 5 stars. If they rate you 5 stars, it will then prompt them to leave a review on Google, Facebook, or your own website, wherever you want to send them. If they leave you less than 5 stars, they can leave private feedback. We have a lot of customers do that like on day 2, because they actually want to get negative feedback before the guest leaves, because they want to address that early on. So you'll see like the custom feedback from day 2. And that's a good way to also solicit feedback and get reviews from the non-booking guests. So while you definitely want to drive the 5-star review to Airbnb or Vrbo, from the booker, the 8 other people that love the stay, let's get them to rate you 5 stars on Google so that you can also help your search engine optimization.
Does the direct booking website translate guest communication to the native language?
Actually, currently it's only in English, but our dev team is definitely looking at it and like trying to like optimize it for different languages as well.
Okay. We have many questions here. I'm not sure we will be able to answer all of them. Let's see. Does IGMS file? Oh, we've already answered this one. Can you add fees such as security deposits, cleaning fee, and upsell items?
Yeah, so you can definitely add security deposits, cleaning fees, cancellation policies. So all of that you can definitely add to iGEMS. As for upsell, so currently we don't have that capability, but you can definitely use like one of our partners for upselling those items with no problem. So I know that a lot of different companies do that. So you can definitely check out our marketplace and find like the best one that fits your needs as well.
A question for Arthur. Does StayFi only work with its proprietary hardware? Does StayFi install the hardware at our properties? Apologies if you already answered this.
Yeah, no worries. We only work today with hardware from a company called Ubiquiti Unified to be specific. It's not hardware we manufacture. It's actually probably in the top 3 of enterprise Wi-Fi equipment. So we're using kind of the best in breed Wi-Fi equipment for single family homes and I'd say like smaller multifamily properties. And in the US, we will sell it to you. Outside the US, you can buy it from Ubiquiti directly or other third parties, and we help you set it up. And like I mentioned before, it plugs into the existing router, doesn't change the current Wi-Fi if you don't want to. So everything that can be in the background, and will broadcast a new guest network that if you have several properties, it's nice because it's actually the same instructions. So you can have one branded Wi-Fi guest network in all properties, and then you just let guests know to join that, and they'll get the splash page.
Okay. I have one more question here. We currently have 7 properties on both Airbnb and Vrbo. At what level would you say IGMS, StayFi, and automation systems are advisable with the number of listings we have?
If you're operating 7 properties without a pre-PMS, and IGMS is an amazing PMS, you definitely should do that because you're going to have people overbook each other and there's all sorts of issues that arise. So having the ability to list, and I know you guys offer integrations with a bunch of other channels too. So you can even distribute those 7 properties, even more places beyond all the other automations you guys do, which I know you covered at the beginning. I don't know if you want to talk about any specifically for someone like this.
Yeah, I think so. That like the 7 property is a number that you actually, I think you should already get like any type of PMS and use it because Airbnb and VRBO, even though you are listing on 2 different channels, so you have 7 properties. So in the end, you have like 14 different listings to manage. So in the end, it gets a lot of hassle, even though, for example, you can like link somehow Airbnb and VRBO using the iCal format. But we always advise to have something like directly integrated because it updates like really quickly. And instead of like iCal connection, you can avoid some double bookings and everything like that. And of course, having to manually message the guests and do everything manually. So it takes a lot of time. And actually, the users who are actually using IGMS, in the end, they save a lot of time there. Not only like the message communication and the guest communication at all, so you can also like manage your internal team using it. So your tasks, cleanings, which in the end saves you a lot of time. So I would definitely like recommend getting any PMS and using it for your needs as well.
And also I'd say the website is key, right? So then you'll be able to have a direct booking website. And even if you convert, even if direct bookings make 5% of your total bookings or 10%, if you actually look at if you consider the fees you're paying Airbnb and Vrbo as marketing costs, which they really are, you're spending a ton of money on marketing. But some people, like, they don't think of it that way, right? They think it's like, this is the cost of doing business, is these fees. But, if you start seeing more direct bookings, you'll realize there's a huge amount of money that you're leaving on the table by using those platforms, which are amazing. And, we always recommend people list there. But just upping the percentage of people that book directly, you're going to see you can save a lot of money and become more profitable. And then outside of that, I would say like other very common software we would see kind of like what's the first thing after getting IGMS would be something like a Price Labs, like a pricing tool. Also very common for someone of that size, just to make sure you have a pulse on what the competition is doing and also how to optimize revenue that way.
Okay. We still have 17 questions to answer, but we won't have time to answer all of them. I will select just 2 questions here. Arthur, where does StayFi operate, and can it operate in Nigeria?
Yeah, so StayFi operates anywhere in the world. And actually, I didn't mention it, but we have a promo code with IGMS, which is just IGMS 50, the number. And with that, you'll get 50% off your first 6 months of StayFi service, including our email marketing tool. So definitely check that out. There's no contracts when you sign up for StayFi, so you can go to stayfi.com, create an account. We won't charge you anything until you start using it, so you're definitely welcome to use the promo code, take a look, play around, see if you like the email marketing tool, and then if you do, you can import all your contacts from IGMS. For Nigeria, we will help you. So if you sign up for StayFi and you're like, I'm in Nigeria, how do I get hardware? We'll help you find a seller of Ubiquiti Unify hardware in Nigeria that you would buy the equipment from. I know there's also a question around costs. I'll just talk about that here. The cost for the hardware is going to be somewhere between like 100 and 200 US dollars, depending on the exact model you buy. So we sell a few different models for different size properties. So we have like a long range for bigger homes, something called the Light or 6 Plus for smaller properties. We have a device that can actually put it outside to like extend the signal to cover a pool. And we also support all the other Ubiquiti UniFi hardware we don't sell, but if you buy it, in Nigeria, you pick a different model, we can support that as well. Then from a monthly fee perspective, we charge a subscription based on the number of properties or devices you have in your StayFi account. And those fees are, there's volume pricing. So the more properties you have, the less the per unit cost is. And if you go to our website, stayfi.com/pricing, you can see exactly what those are. And they range between, like $4 and $8 a month per property, essentially, depending on how many you have. And then the email marketing tool is a separate subscription, very similar price to like what you would pay for like a MailChimp, or Constant Contact, basically based on the number of contacts you have in your subscriber database. So that starts at $15 for up to 500 contacts. And then, it goes up a little bit as you add more contacts. And so when you connect iGMS, you might pull in like 350 emails, let's say. So you would start at $15. And then as you start adding more emails, you would eventually get to the next tier. And that includes all the features, automations, unlimited sends. So that's not capped. So you're just paying based on the number of subscribers you have.
Okay. I'm gonna have our last question here. Does the direct booking platform integrate with iGMS, Nino?
Yeah, so for direct booking, actually, so you will, as I mentioned, so if you do have like some kind of website set up, so you can integrate it via widget. But in the end, so if you don't have anything set up yet, so you can do basically everything from iGMS. So you can manage if you don't want like a website yet or anything like that, so you can manually book someone in using the calendar. Or as I mentioned, so you can create a website directly through iGMS. So we have 2 types of websites. And of course, integrate a widget as I mentioned at the start.
Okay, sorry guys, we won't be able to answer all of the questions. Our webinar is coming to an end. You have on the chat the promo code for iGMS for StayFi.
I just added that for you.
Yes. Whatever you need, you can get in touch with us. We will promptly help you. And I would like to thank you all for being here, all our guests. Thank you, Nino. Thank you, Arthur, for joining us in this panel. I believe it was very interesting and helpful for our guests. So wishing you all a very good rest of the day. Enjoy your day, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys. This is amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.